Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene, with the glow of my laptop on my face. Tonight, I just felt like I had to sit here and talk to you guys, but I didn't really know which subject to talk about. I have like 3 or 4 things that have been bothering me, but I've been kind of on the manic side the past couple of days, and I thought maybe it's just good to just talk about something, not my issues or the things that are bothering me at the moment. You know, sometimes talking about things, it just makes it escalate. I think right now, while I'm manic, it's probably better for me to just talk about something else and relax a little bit. I just have a hard time with this channel because I feel like once I start talking, I can't stop, and I want to try to keep the videos short. So we're just going to keep practicing that. Let's keep practicing getting short videos. I'm already failing. So here's what I thought I would do. I have my Growing Up Crazy YouTube channel here on my laptop, and I'm just going to read some of the comments and talk about the comments. Some people have questions I can try to answer, or some people just share their experiences, and I can't imagine anything better than sharing other Peanut Gallery members. I don't know, what are we in the Growing Up Crazy? It's not really Peanut Gallery. We haven't really decided on that, have we? But I just thought, without mentioning names, I mean, I can mention the names because the names are right there if you go look at the comments. But just for the sake of the video, I'm not going to. And so let's just look at a few things here and see what we got. And it might just inspire some conversation. Narc Mom, no contact now. Recently I realized I married one and I'm in a foreign country. I can't simply hop in my vehicle and go back home. Very common for people who are raised by a narcissistic parent to marry a narcissist, because it's what we know. About the no contact, it keeps making me want to look up some of these narcissistic videos that I've watched to share with you guys, because you'll learn a lot by watching a whole bunch of different narcissistic videos. If you're married to a narcissist, try to find someone who talks about being married to a narcissist. It can be different than, you know, being raised by a narcissist or having a narcissistic friend or whatever. But there's this one man I used to watch, and oh my goodness, I mean, you can tell the anger he still has for his mother, and I can't really remember. I'll try to find him and link down below to that. I can't remember like how many years of separation he had, but I think he did make contact again, and it was like instantly the wrong thing for him to do. And I do get that. I do get complete disconnect works for many people. I didn't really want that. I wanted to feel sorry for my mother and to feel empathy for her once I knew she was a narcissist. I mean, I went through a very angry stage. That stage is subsiding now that I've been talking to you guys. I wanted to find a way to make it work. I mean, she's 93. She needs help. I'm still trained to be a helper. I want to just be good to her if possible. And even though I know I'm not ever going to get anything in return from her emotionally, and she still drives me crazy. I go to visit her today at rehab. She's there for, she had cellulitis, and she's there just recouping. You know, and it's the same thing that it's always been. I'll start talking or something, and she'll just go off on something, and I'll be like, Mom, I was telling you something. Oh, I know exactly what you were going to say. And she'll just go right on with her thing. That is just a tiny, tiny little part of it. But when you live with a narcissist and they've done things to torment you all your life, it's to the point where you can't even take the tiny little part. And she did it again to me tonight when I was visiting, 2 times in a row, and I sat on the bed and I just wanted to cry. I wanted to just cry because I thought, yeah, you know, I still have to realize that I never really had a mother. Nobody who really cared. She didn't care about me enough to even listen. She's not capable. She's just not. And it's just a very empty, sad feeling. But, you know, she's a human being who needs help, and she's an elderly, and I'm going to take care of her till the end. All right. I'm sorry. This isn't funny, but it's kind of. My narc keeps wanting to die, and now I tell him to hurry up so that my dog and I can get back to a normal, peaceful life. I mean, just, my mother's been dying all my life. I know how that feels. It's like, just stop saying it. And when she had her cellulitis this time, it was actually a relief to me that she had something actually wrong with her. I can handle something being wrong. What I can't handle is, the constant going to the hospital, or I'm dying, and it's like just playing these games. It's like, oh my, you have an infection in your legs. Let's go to the hospital. You know what I mean? It's like I can handle something real. Yeah, the old I'm dying, it's a big one for narcissists. It really is. I have a 17-year-old son who has depression and anxiety problems, and I find it hard to know what to do to help him sometimes. What would you have wanted when you were his age to help you get through those depressed times? I talk to him for hours, but it doesn't always help him. Do I continue to talk to him, or am I best leaving him in his room for him to sort it out in his head? He won't attend his therapy sessions because he finds it difficult to talk to people. Any advice would be very helpful from another person who has been through it themselves. Oh, I can only imagine what you must be going through as a mother, because first of all, my son, who is 38, also suffers from depression. He's been diagnosed as bipolar. He has had severe bouts with depression, has spent the better part of a summer, I think 2 years ago, in a mental facility because he just was afraid of what he would do to himself. Scares me every day. Every day I'm worried for him. So I get where you're coming from. When I was young, or 17, I didn't even know what depression was. I mean, I just thought I was a bad person, and by the time I was 17, I mean, I had been drinking for quite a few years, and heavily, and I also had a child by then, so it was, it was a mess, and I didn't have a support system at all. So I don't even know. I just don't know. I can only think that for me personally, it would have been wonderful to have someone talk to me like you are talking to your son. But we can't always do that with a mental illness, because it is a mental illness. And sometimes, and I know a lot of people have, their issues with medication. I have gone the highly medicated route, which I felt awesome at times, but it causes way more other problems for some. It did for me. So I got off them, and then I crashed, and it's hard. I am on meds now, a low dose of Prozac. I don't take all the other things that they would want me to take. So it's hard to even say maybe he should try some meds. I don't know. And at 17, I don't know. It's so hard. It would be the best thing. I don't know if there even are groups for people, for you to be able to have a group of other adults with depressed children to talk to and maybe share ideas that way. When I'm depressed, when I'm suffering depression, I don't know if anything that anybody says to me can really help. I think now that I'm older and I have lived through it a lot, having my friend tell me, this will pass. You've been through this and you're going to get through it again. So I just try to remember and let myself rest and say, okay, right now I'm going through a depression and I'm just going to go through it and not worry about it. But at 17, he hasn't had enough experience to even know that it cycles, and that if you just hang on for a little bit, it can get easier. So I don't know. It's just hard. I wish I could help you. I would say please try to seek out even some online groups. Look for some groups for mothers of depressed sons. I bet you there's groups that specific, and they will be able to help you. Hear that noise? I don't like noise. I'm alone here. Oh, listen to this one. I would love an obesity video. I'm obese and 32, and sometimes I'm scared to leave my house because I feel so gross. Have you ever had someone say, oh, look at her, or comment about your weight? I have a lot, and I think that's why I am the way I am. I always feel gross. I feel like I look gross. I feel like people think I look gross, or that I even smell gross, or that I just am gross. And now I'm starting to not feel that way. Okay, here's an example. I made a shirt today, not the one I'm wearing. I happen to have made this shirt too, but I made a different shirt. And I did a video about it on my main channel. At the end of that video, I got up and did a little dance, showing myself, full body. When I first started doing YouTube, I didn't even want to show my hands. I was only voice, and you saw a computer screen. Slowly, I started to show my hands doing crafts. And then I eventually got to, like, you know, just neck up, and little by little I started showing more and more of myself, and each time I showed a little bit more, and I noticed that the world wasn't laughing and pointing and calling me names. Some people called me names. There are meanies in this world, but the majority of the people were nice and accepting, and I thought, oh my God, it's not the end of the world to be obese. I thought it was the end of the world because my mother was my main name caller. My mother, before I even ever had any kind of a weight problem, I was not an obese child. She would tell me that I was going to be fat. You're going to be fat like your aunts. They're fat. You look like your father's side, and you're going to be fat like your aunts. I used to go to bed and cry and thought, gee whiz, you know, it's like, you know, my mother always said there was something wrong with me and I was evil, and I had no idea what I was talking about, and things that I said, I had made them up. And now I even had the burden of, no matter what I do, I'm going to be obese one day. My mother says I'm going to be a fatty. So it's like, what else did I do? I grew up to be a fatty. It's like it was a self-fulfilled prophecy. I mean, it was like I had no choice. So yeah, I've had people call me fat. My mother, one of the most embarrassing things that she ever did, and I will never forget it, is we went to a funeral. I was probably 30 pounds overweight back then. She didn't like it. She was ashamed of how I looked. And we went to a funeral, and relatives had come from another town who hadn't seen me in a long time, and she introduced me as, oh, this is Darlene, she's not usually this fat. Exactly how she said it, and I can remember my uncle's face dropping, because what do you say to something like that? I mean, I was so embarrassed, not even for myself, but for them, and, you know, but that's just the way my mother is. It was like she didn't want to have anybody think that she could possibly have a fat daughter. Although, on the other hand, I really think she wanted me fat because then I wasn't as good as her. It's very complicated, very complicated. But then one time when I was living in Houston and was probably about 50 pounds overweight, and I was walking every day, and then I even started jogging a little bit, and this is shortly after Forrest Gump came out, and there's that, run, Forrest, run! Well, I was running, and these kids across the street, run, fat lady, run! And I was like, oh my God, I'm being teased by children. Not only did I feel fat, but I felt old. So, yeah. So watch some other women on YouTube who are obese and they show themselves in clothes and bathing suits. Watch that. It's very inspiring, and, you know, you're not a freak show, but I know how you feel. Okay, folks, I've already gone on too long. Kind of liked this, reading some comments and just talking about various things. So I hope you did too, and I will be back with more soon. Bye!